Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Box Gaming Solo Career Series with F1 2013. I am, of course, Justin, aka Big Ghost Pirate. Forgot who I was for a second there. And I'm very happy to be bringing this series back to you guys. Had a little issue, actually. It had been so long since I'd done one that I forgot to make a change to my MSI. And this is recorded commentary. I was not able to do the live commentary, or I messed it up. It didn't record. I was talking into the mic the whole race, and it just wasn't recording any of it. But I've fixed the issue now, so it won't be a problem. Also, I do have a new video card coming soon, so hopefully that will allow me to maybe record in 1080. The real issue right now is that I'm recording to the same drive that the game is on, which is a problem I know, and it's going to be fixed with my next computer, which will be happening soon, as I may have mentioned in some previous videos. So this is actually the recording, and I was talking during this, so I'm going to do my best to try and fill stuff in while I wait for me to go over to the emails, because of course we'll be starting with the emails. So, very happy to be at this track, though. I love Spa, as you guys might know. I won there in the Sauber last year. It's definitely one of my top 3 favorite tracks. My 3 favorite tracks are probably Malaysia, Spa, and Korea. And I think maybe in that order, actually. So here we are with the emails. Previous race was Hungary. I lost 6 positions. That was not a good race for me. I started in 2nd, finished 8th. I have scored points, I believe, every race though, so I'm keeping that going. Destroying Grosjean, I got more than 4 times as many points as him. It's almost sad, really, at this point. He's really what's hurting us in the Constructors' Championship, as you'll see at the end of this race. So this is what the weekend's going to look like. It's going to be mostly cloudy on Friday, sunny on Saturday, and rain on Sunday. So unfortunately, it's another wet race, but I'd rather do Spa in the wet than Monaco or Spain in the dry. So it feels like I've been doing a lot of Spain and Monaco recently. So I've probably done about 150 laps of Monaco in the last week or so, and probably close to 200 laps of Spain in about the same time period, 2 weeks maybe. And then, yeah, I got a contract offer from Red Bull. I declined that. Not interested in going to Red Bull at this time, nor will I ever, really. More than likely I'll end up going to Ferrari next, possibly McLaren next. I know a lot of you want to see me in a Ferrari, want me to go to Ferrari. It was definitely the most voted for car when I was deciding what I should drive for Season 2, but unfortunately my contract expired with them before I was able to get all the votes in and everything, so I wasn't able to go to them. So also I do kind of want to go to McLaren to partner Jenson Button, because my last name is Sutton, and that would be the greatest team name ever. Button and Sutton at McLaren would be fantastic. I just need to pick Sergio Perez as my rival, though, and I'm in 1st right now, and he's only like an 8th, so I'm not sure that's going to happen next year. So it might be Ferrari next year. I do want to kind of change it up. Also, at some point, if you guys are interested, let me know in the comments below. Maybe after my 5th season, because it's a 5-season series with Career, after my 5 seasons are up, I'm thinking about maybe going to Marussia and taking that team from 11th to 1st in the Constructors. It would take probably 3 or 4, maybe even all 5 seasons, and also it would be difficult, and it might be kind of tedious. I would be willing to do 25% or 50% or whatever you guys would be interested in. I could skip on quali to show you guys the races and nothing else. So if you guys would be interested in seeing that sort of thing, me taking Marussia from 11th to 1st in the Constructors, let me know in the comments below. It's something that kind of interests me, but I'm not sure it would really interest anybody else, so I just want to get a feeling for it from you guys. So here we are. This is Q3. Q1 and Q2 went pretty well. I believe I was in the top 5 for both of those, so I'm feeling pretty good. Oh, interesting. I accidentally cut the video off wrong. So this is actually my 2nd attempt. That's nice though. Actually, the video is going to be a little bit shorter than normal. It's 56 minutes, and that's with the really long opening too. So that's a nice length. So you guys only missed my other lap, which, as you can see, there was a 148.128, which I believe was my personal best at the time. Oh, and actually now that I'm remembering, this lap was worse, and partially because of that lockup right there. I lost about a tenth and a half right there, just locking my inside wheel in turn 1. So unfortunately this lap is not as quick, so we won't be seeing my faster lap in quality there. But this lap will give you a good idea of how I drive the course. One thing that I did do wrong, you'll see my setup in a minute. I had a problem where I had to restart my game or the race. What exactly happened? Put in a new. Oh right, I put in a new engine after practice, and I went to change my setup back to the way I had it, and I forgot to change the ride height. So I am running 1-1 ride height. I wanted to go 2-4 on the ride height to avoid the car dragging on the ground. And I was running the 2-4 ride height in practice, and it was working out really well. I was only dragging in certain areas, like through Eau Rouge, those types of like really high downforce areas, maybe a little bit on Pouan, maybe at the end of the long straight, but only when DRS was closed was it actually dragging on the ground. So, and it was only kind of skipping. You're gonna see in this video, it just constantly just drags the whole way down the straight, and I really think the top speed suffers. So, yep, as you can see, I'm 3/10 down on my previous lap. I lost about a tenth and a half in Sector 1, another tenth and a half in Sector 2, and I'm trying my darndest to try and make up that time in Sector 3 here, and it is going all right. I actually had a good line through the second part of that chicane there. I probably could have carried just a bit more speed. So yeah, I did end up making up about a half a tenth in that final sector, but I lost 3/10 in the first 2 sectors, so it was a slower lap overall. So we qualified 6th out of 10. Romain Grosjean didn't even make it into Q3. He was knocked out in Q2 in 11th, though. It just barely missed out. 2 McLarens way down at the bottom. Nico Rosberg on pole, Sebastian Vettel in 2nd, Alonso in 3rd. Alright, so target was 7th or above actually, and I got 6th, so my team is happy with that. Really do like that helmet. I might change it at some point. It would match the Ferrari well, I'll say that. And the McLaren. It would match the McLaren well as well. So if I go to one of those 2 teams, excuse me, if I go to one of those 2 teams, then I'll probably keep that helmet. But if I end up going, well, actually it would match the Marussia too. Huh. I don't know. I might take a look. I think I've unlocked more helmets since I originally equipped that one, so I might have one more available to me, potentially. I might like one of the new ones better. Alright, so here we're going to look at the setup. 69% chance of rain. The R&D part that I did for this race failed. So I'll have it in 2 races, which I believe is Singapore, I think, something like that. It's the one after Monza. So this is they want me to do option prime option, but there is rain coming. It says 69% chance. That means it should rain for 69% of the race, roughly. So that means like a third of the way through the race we should see some rain, which is about 7 laps in. So I'm probably gonna do option. Yeah, there we go. Did I end up going with this? I think I ended up going option prime actually, because I wasn't 100% confident the rain was actually going to come. Because this game seems to be funny with the rain sometimes. Okay, no, option prime. That's what I'm going to stick with. Final answer? Nope, that should be 14. Yeah, I changed that, yeah, to prime, and then 14. Sorry, by far the least interesting part of this entire video. I don't know why I don't cut this part out. Strategy is one of my stronger suits, though, in this game. I try to imagine. One thing that's great about this game is the rubbered inline that shows up on the track. It means you can do an extra lap or 2 on the options in a later stint than you would in an earlier stint, that sort of thing, which I enjoy. So 2-1 on the wings, 52-48 high standard on the brakes, 111 on the bars, 1-1 ride height. If you guys are copying me, use 2-4 instead, 2 on the front, 4 on the back. Stiffness at 9. You could probably go with 11. It depends on how much curbs you use in this game. I use the curbs a good amount. Gears 1 through 3 are maxed out. Gears 4, 5, 6, and 7 are descending, 1 click to the left each, which was good if I had the right ride height, which I didn't, so that was unfortunate. I do have a brand new engine, though, for this race, and my camber and toe are all the way left and right, respectively, in just the most aggressive way. You really don't have to worry about tire wear at this track. It's really not an issue, which is actually kind of great because you could just push the whole time. You could use whatever setup you want and just go nuts. You're driving flat out this whole race. There's no tire saving or anything like that. So 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we're away. And not going to use any curves. It's a short run down to turn 1, barely going to get into 3rd. And then breaking down into 1st, going in between Alonso and Hamilton and alongside Vettel, and then, got some oversteer that almost threw me off the track, but I managed to hang on to it using about 50% of my curves alongside Vettel, behind Alonso, now moving in between them, and then going around the outside of Alonso at Eau Rouge, using the rest of my curves in Rich Mix in Rosberg's slipstream. And I got top speed 201. Going down to Lincoln to do some fuel saving now, down to 2nd gear into this wonderful series of corners. I love this track so much. Even if I don't do well here in the ARL League races, it's just so much fun to drive. And I wish it was longer. 22 laps of Spa doesn't feel like enough. Where 20 laps into Monaco, and I'm ready to wave the white flag. I'm done with that track after. Probably even less than 20 laps. So going through Pouhon now, staying in Rich, trying to pull out a gap to Rosberg. I think you saw me look back there. I noticed that there was a little bit of a gap forming, so I decided to stay in Rich and push and try and get him out of my DRS. Going to Rich now, and using that last little sliver of curves that I had. Excuse me. And Rosberg is keeping up. I can tell you in hindsight that Rosberg is running more downforce than me. He's definitely faster through the corners, but I am faster on the straights, is what it seems to me anyway. And you will see that more and more evident as the race goes on. It becomes more and more obvious. So about 7/10 to Rosberg after the first lap. Again, going down to lean for hairpins and whatnot. And then back up to Rich. And using some curves, about 55%, 45% of my curves. I'm in trouble with my fractions today. Staying in 7th gear through Eau Rouge. It's comfortably a 7th gear corner in this game. It was 6th gear last game, especially because people were running max gears last game, but 7th gear this game.
We have some spare fuel. You should consider turning up the engine for a few laps.
Very aggressive, taking a lot of curve in that corner back there. Ooh, very close to the outside curve on that corner, taking a little bit too much curve on that corner. But again, this is why I run with the slightly softer springs. Going down to 5th gear for Pouhon. I think it was 4th gear actually last year at the beginning of the races, but there's so much downforce in the cars this year. It's comfortably 5th gear, even with 21 or 22, 23 laps of fuel on board. Down to 2nd gear, up to Rich. Using the rest of my curves now, about 55% of my curves. And Rosberg's still about 7/10 behind. DRS is going to be active next lap, so it doesn't look like I'm going to get him out of my range. Alonso's not far behind him, only 6/10 behind to Alonso, going down to lean for the bus stop chicane. And you can see there's actually quite a gap forming after Alonso. If you look on the mini-map, there's a big gap to 4th place, and then actually another big gap to 5th, 6th, and 7th, and then another big gap to 8th. So we are pulling away from the rest of the field. It's definitely looking like a podium position at least at this point, but I'm really struggling to pull away from Rosberg and Alonso, possibly because as we see, Rosberg set the fastest lap with 151.150. Which is only a 10th faster than my current fastest lap, which would have been that last lap. So He was only about about a tenth of a second faster than me. And I was doing fuel saving through that as well, so that's encouraging actually. Braking at about 60 meters, down to second gear with all the fuel on board. Third gear through this corner, fourth at the exit. And then probably braking down to first gear for this corner. Yep. And initially I was doing second gear, and that works with low fuel, but with heavy fuel you really want to go down to first gear, especially if you have tall first and second gears for that corner. And Rosberg's still there. I missed my apex a little bit there, almost touching the curb. And lots of the inside curb, a little bit of the exit curb as well. Down to second or third gear for this one, especially on these options. So if I get a message about the rain, I'm going to be pitting probably on lap 4 for another set of the options, because I can't go 7 or 8 laps on them. I mean, I could maybe go 7, but I honestly think it would be the slower way to go. And if the rain comes while I'm on 7-lap-old options, that's no bueno.
Fuel management has been excellent this race. Great job.
I would like to be on really fresh tires when the rain comes, or fresher tires if possible. So still at +1 lap fuel. As I said, fastest lap of the race, 151.047. It's about a tenth of a second faster than Rosberg's last lap. And I pulled out that gap just a smidgen. It's about 7.5 tenths. And it looks like I might actually be pulling away from Rosberg now. He might be running out of fuel. He might just be giving up for now. Nope, he's still pretty close. He's still probably about 7 tenths. I think he's got DRS open right now. And, yep, braking at about 60 meters again. Down to second gear. And then up to third. And then up to fourth. Could have taken that a little bit better. So I can tell you right now, I'm thinking, do I pit now? If it's going to rain, do I pit now or do I pit on the next lap? Is it lap 4 or 5 that I want to be pitting on?
Radar suggests heavy rain in around 10
Okay,
minutes.
heavy rain in around 10 minutes. 10 minutes at Spa means about 5 laps. So at the end of lap 9, I'm going to be...
Options confirmed.
Okay, yep. So these were 1 lap old at the start of the race, and so this is the 4th lap, so that means they're 5 laps old now. And the rain's coming in 5 laps, so now is the optimal time to pit. Bump that wall. I really don't like the pit entry at Spa. At least in the game, it's really tough. Here we are pitting. I'm the only one pitting, and this is the downside to my strategy, is that I'm going to be coming out in traffic. The game says I'm going to be rejoining in 13th to 15th. Let's see if that's accurate. I don't think that's accurate at all.
There's some traffic at the pit exit. Watch out as you rejoin the track.
Nope, I'm going to be rejoining in 7th, possibly 8th. Oh, here comes Button. Using curves. I'm in rich mix as well. Using lots and lots of curves, about 65% or so. There we go.
You have 2 stops remaining.
So I'm hanging on to that position in front of Button. So it is 7th. As you can see, my car dragging on the ground, and it was so annoying having to hear that all race long, knowing that I made that mistake and that I wouldn't have had to listen to it if I had just done the 2-4 ride height like I intended. So I was pretty upset about that, and I feel like it was actually holding me back as well. I feel like I could have maybe been a tenth or 2 faster each lap if it wasn't for that dragging problem, which of course, would have equaled out to 2 or 4 seconds over the course of the race, which is pretty big, pretty large margin. So I am on fresh tires right now, though. Everyone else is on 5-lap-old options. Everyone in front of me, anyway. All these people started in the top 10, so that means they started on options, worn options from quali. And I am visibly gaining on Hulkenberg. He might be... It's possible that the car in front of him is holding him up, possibly using the rest of my curves, only at about 30 or 35% left, though.
Hulkenberg
Yep.
right
I'm less than, or about a second away from Hulkenberg right now, just getting closer and closer as well. Starting to get a little sniff of a slipstream.
Faster than the car ahead in sector 3. See if we can use that to our advantage.
Okay, so down to lean. Braking at about 110 meters. I probably could have braked at about 100 meters, but I'm playing it cautious, and for good reason. You can see I have a lot more grip than Nico does. As I get some DRS, I'm probably going to go down to lean.
The car ahead is running standard revs.
Nope.
Standard revs.
Right now I'm just focused on getting past Hulkenberg. Although if I think I might be passing him going through Eau Rouge if this keeps up. I'm using some curves. Yep, I'm using 40% of my curves or so. Going to standard, and yep, I'm not going to lift. So here I go around the outside again for the second time this race around the outside at Eau Rouge. I get a warning for causing a collision, but if you'll notice, look, I look behind me, and that's Nico right there. He didn't lose any time. The guy's fine. So, got some DRS as well. Closing right in on Weber. You can see the tire life is just so much nicer on my tires versus the cars ahead. Even in the dirty air, I'm catching up on them, and especially under braking. And just kissing that outside curve, just a little nudge. And right up behind Weber. This is not the best passing location here, but I have a lot more grip than him, and he cuts the inside, cut to the outside, and take Mark Webber around the outside at the exit of Pouan. That felt amazing in-game. I can tell you that right now. I was pretty much freaking out when that happened in-game, which is probably why I almost ran off the track right there. But it felt great to make that move in-game. Just at the time, the adrenaline was pumping. It was fantastic. One of the reasons I love these games, the F1 games, they really get your heart rate up and everything. It's fantastic. As I'm going side by side with Lewis Hamilton. And breaking down for the bus stop, and it looks like I've got the position. I left him just enough room on the inside. And I should get DRS as well. Yep, there's the DRS. And Rosberg's in the pits, and I'm already past him, so I have jumped Rosberg significantly. And we should be seeing this rain probably next lap, I would imagine. Well, they said heavy rain at the end of lap 9 is what they predicted, so we could start seeing rain pretty soon here. And I'm getting a nice run on Massa. Get the DRS open now, up to 200 miles an hour. Going down to lean, actually, because it looks like I comfortably have him. Due to a purple first sector, and the engineer tells me heavy rain in a few minutes' time. So it looks like it might actually be happening a little bit earlier than they initially predicted. It's a good thing it didn't come any earlier, otherwise people might have stayed out and just gone straight onto the inters, and then I would have been a stop down from everyone. That's my apex there, and there's the rain actually already on lap 7. Man, I did not realize it was that early, but yeah, lap 7, this is the end of lap 7 to be fair, and I am 6/10 up. Got a purple middle sector as well, already a 1 second gap to Massa, who I just passed at the end of sector 1. And I'm braking a little too early for that chicane. Oh, right, and I am burning off fuel now. I should do the fastest lap of the race, 150.613. But I don't need this fuel when it's raining. Trying to run rich mix in the wet actually causes more wheel spin. It also does help on the straights as well. Once you got the traction, having the rich mix is nice, but it's a lot less important. Getting good traction is just as important, I would say. So I'm looking to just build out this gap, and if you actually look at the mini-map, Rosberg is way back right now. We are going very fast, so that enlarges the gap. The faster you're going, visually the gap looks bigger. But you can even see going through these slower sections that, yeah, I'm 6 seconds up on Rosberg at the moment because of pitting on lap 4. So I'm looking to increase this gap. Probably, oh, no, just down to standard. I actually would have expected to go to Rich coming out of that corner with no name. And it's definitely still dry conditions. You can see I'm not really struggling at all. This is still, you know, very much dry conditions. I'm flying right along. Taking this corner in third gear, a little bit of understeer. And a little bit of understeer there as well. So it's definitely getting wet, but I would say probably one more lap. I think one more lap. I want to be coming in at the end of lap 9, I think, for the intermediates. They did say heavy rain, though, so I was considering thinking about maybe trying to stay out. Oh, as Alonso got past Rosberg, and he's actually closed me down a little bit. He's now only 5.4 seconds back. But I was thinking about gambling it, maybe just, you know, going straight for the wet, full wet tires, but that seemed like a gamble I shouldn't be making in first place. I need to just do what the conditions are demanding. So now I'm really trying to burn off this fuel, as you can see, using Rich, even going through this hairpin here. And yep. So yeah, I am going to be pitting at the end of lap 9 here. Not going to make the same mistake that I made in ARL in the Spain race. I'm going to tell them to put the intermediates on. You would think in conditions like this that if your driver comes into the pits, you would give him intermediates without him having to say so. But you have to specify with this game, so I'm telling them to put on the intermediates, and I'm going to come in at the end of this lap. And yep, definitely some understeer there. I'm off the line. And I'm only using second gear through that corner and third gear at the exit, so it is definitely slower, braking a little bit earlier than normal for this corner. Still using first gear though. Definitely getting some wheel spin. Ooh. There we go, using some more Rich. Try and burn this fuel off.
We have a little bit of spare fuel. We should keep an eye on it over the next
barely touching that curb. Definitely not able to carry as much speed through there, but it's still not too bad. But based on how the rain looks, I mean, it looks like it's going to get bad pretty quickly. So, yeah, as you can see, there's already spray coming off the tires. So, oh, yep. Yep, and there's confirmation. I almost slide right off the track, and then my engineer tells me that I am on the wrong compound and that I need to come in for the intermediates. And Rosberg's gotten back past Alonso and is now only 4.8 seconds behind. And I had that little off after the split time, so he's actually even closer than that. And so I'm braking very cautiously to get into the pits here for the inters. See if I can avoid hitting the wall. I can't. So I'm 2 for 2 when it comes to hitting the pit entry wall. As I tell them intermediates again, just to be extra safe. There should be a 3.1 pit stop. Oh, as I get held up by the Mercedes. So he's going to gain 9/10 on me. He was 4.2 at the split, so it should be closer to 3.3. I imagine I'm going to Rich. Yep. So I am coming out of the pits in first. Everyone is pitting for the intermediates. People are double stacking. It looks like even they're not keeping anyone out.
We fitted you with a set of intermediates. There's just 2 stops remaining.
2 stops remaining is what he's saying actually. So lap 13 and 17, I think it is. Yeah, as my engineer tells me, Rosberg will be pitting in the next 2 laps. The guy just held me up in the pits, and my team seems to think that he's going to be pitting again in 2 laps. I think there might be some serious problems with the engineers. You can see Rosberg is 3.3, which is exactly what I said it would be. 9/10 closer than 4.2. So he's 3.3 seconds away, and remember, he has more downforce. So he is going to be faster in these wet conditions. So my part of the race, the dry part, has passed now, unfortunately. Even in these intermediate conditions, Rosberg is going to be the faster car through all these corners and stuff. There's lots of long straights where I can make it difficult for him to pass me, but he is going to be catching me. Through all these corners, he's able to carry more speed, more grip, more traction. Using Rich Mix to get myself into 7th gear. Dragging on the ground all the while. 2.4 to Rosberg now. Getting much closer. Going to lean for the bus stop chicane. Back to standard for the start-finish straight. Trying to keep it on the racing line. The water level should be reduced there, and it should provide better grip. Braking at about 100 meters down to first gear, up into rich mix. Very cautious on the throttle. Short shifting as well. Probably didn't want to be taking that exit curb. No traction there. And taking lots of curb through Eau Rouge. I saved lots of curves. 60-65% of my curves remaining. And 2.6 to Rosberg. Looks like I'm maintaining that gap, at least in Sector 1, where my low downforce setup is working well. But all through here, his high downforce setup should close in. So it was 2.6 at the last sector. So I go to standard now. Huan is still a fifth gear corner, even in the intermediates. So I turned out a little early and didn't quite carry enough speed through there, and I'm a little bit offline now, so definitely was not a good Puan for me, unfortunately. Taking a lot of inside curb, which ruins my line for the next corner here in that sequence. And again, down to second gear, and then up to Rich. And it's only 1.5 to Rosberg now, so he gained 1.1 seconds in that sector. As you can see, I didn't have a great Puan, but I didn't lose a second and a tenth. So again, though, I should be pulling out a little bit through this part of the lap. It's kind of the end of the lap and the beginning of the lap is where I'm going to be strong, and the middle of the lap, Sector 2 really, is where he's going to be strong. And he is not far behind now, 1.3, so he actually gained a couple more tenths on me in that final sector, even though I have the low downforce.
Fuel is looking okay, but we'll keep an eye on it.
We're halfway through the race, 11 laps down, 11 laps to go. Still 7th gear through Eau Rouge. Anything over 180 miles an hour with my setup is 7th gear. About 70 meters, 75 meters or so. Had a great line through there. Short shifting to third for that corner. Still using first gear for this one. A little bit offline. Not much traction. It's starting to look like full wet conditions almost. Yep, as I hit. Wow. I did not know that was going to happen like that. So I go to full wets, and you can see Rosberg's proximity arrow actually at the entrance of Puan, so he is right behind me now. And obviously I can't feel what the road is like right now, but it certainly looks pretty bad. I am struggling for sure. And going to Rich. Oh, as I get some wheel spin at the exit, and I'm in Rich, and I'm very tentative through that corner, not quite full throttle with the amount of water that's on the track and the intermediates. Luckily, I had some curves left, and I had some rich mix, and this should be interesting. Oh, I actually had to lift to get the car around that corner, but Rosberg's high downforce setup almost. I think he was full throttle through it. As I can barely get through it. I just edge out Rosberg for the pit entry. As my driver raises his hand in the air in disgust. I don't know that I would have done that at that moment. That was definitely my issue, not Rosberg's. But I was able to just barely keep my nose in front of his. So, and you are allowed to race into the pit entry like that. So, as long as it's all safe and there was no contact, so no issues there. And I'm glad that the game is smart enough to recognize that. And so here we are on the full wets. Hitting at the end of lap 12, so there's 10 laps of the race left, and they want me to do basically 5 laps on the full wets and 5 laps again on the full wets, I would assume. It's probably just going to rain like this for the rest of the race, so pitting on lap 17 for another set of the full wets. And it looks like the pit stop actually has helped increase my lead on Rosberg ever so slightly, but no, that was just because we were going so fast. He did close me down though right at the end of that interstint. He was right on my butt, and now it's back to 1.5 seconds. So it does appear that I gained a little bit of time, maybe just coming out of the pits with my rich mix and my Kurs. I did use a lot of my Kurs, probably 70% or so. Carried a little bit more speed through Fuwan there. And figured I'd take a little break from commentating, just let you guys kind of enjoy the sights and sounds of the game for a minute there. And actually, I'm thinking about going and getting a drink as well, honestly. I'm kind of thirsty. Alright, so starter lap 14 here. Rosberg is right up on my butt again. 7/10 behind, and I'm struggling to get the power down. And there's confirmation from my engineer that actually Rosberg is trying to save fuel. So he's been closing me down while in lean. So I'm not sure if he's saving fuel to mount an attack soon, or if he's saving fuel because he burned all of his fuel attacking me earlier in the race. So I'm doing what I've been doing, you know, just fuel saving in the same parts of the track that I've been fuel saving all race in. And just driving my line and driving my race and just focusing on the road ahead. Trying not to think too much about Rosberg behind. Oop, oh. Missed my turn in for Fuwan, and then onto the curb as well. It's going to put Rosberg right up behind me. A little bit into the grass. Doesn't look like an issue though. I didn't lock my wheel or anything. And a little wide, taking a lot of exit curve there. Up to Rich Mix. Gonna use the last of my Kurs. But now that it's this wet, I'm gonna wait till I get around this corner before I start using my Kurs. 6/10 to Rosberg. So he's keeping that distance. Braking at about 120 meters. Probably could have waited a little bit more than that, maybe 115, 110. And short shifting, get the power down. 1.1 to Rosberg now, so actually I gained a little bit on him. About 5/10. Waiting till third gear to use my Kurs. Using about 45%, 40%. Bit of understeer through Eau Rouge, and actually using some Kurs in 7th gear or in lean mix, and then going to standard. That's strange. I don't remember doing that. That's weird. Just to try and get, and look at that, 2.1 now to Rosberg. 2 seconds to Rosberg now. So it looks like he may have actually run out of fuel, or I'm just driving better. Possibly a combination of the two. That definitely wasn't a good corner. Want to be up on that curve like that. And struggling to get the power down in the low speed corners. Really, anything that's like third gear or higher is fine. It's these first and second gear corners that are really causing me a headache right now. And we got some lap traffic up ahead. If you look at the mini map, they're just a corner or two ahead of me. And the AI is notoriously bad at navigating back traffic like that. Going to Rich, using a little bit of Kurs that I got left. 1.6 to Rosberg now. He's closed back in on the middle sector. Closing down on these back markers, and I am going to get a drink. This is quite a few laps left, so I'm going to grab a drink, let you guys enjoy the race for a moment. Alright, as I navigate the back traffic, and I got my drink. So, like I said, the back markers should have an effect on Rosberg. You can already see, actually, he's 3 seconds behind now. And still struggling to put the power down in the low speed corners, and of course the traction level on these tires is going down. For those of you that don't know yet, who haven't done really any wet racing yet in F1 2013, there is tire wear on the wet tires, and when they get low, or when they get worn, it's a lot worse than when your dry tires get worn, because basically when your wet tires become worn, they become dry tires, essentially. Once you wear the tread down far enough, they become slicks. So using those on a wet surface is really no good. So you do really need to watch out for tire wear. Even yellow or dark yellow wet tires in this game can mean that you need to pit. As I lock my right tire, my inside wheel there, you can probably hear it more than you could see it. But I locked my inside tire going into the bus stop chicane, and that's Vettel. I just lapped Vettel in 20th. He is behind this Caterham. He's behind a Caterham, so I'm not sure what happened with Vettel. Someone put a comment on one of our videos a while back saying that for some reason Vettel seems to be garbage in the second season for everyone. For everyone that plays this game in career mode. The second season, Vettel just sucks, apparently. It must be a bug or something like that. So he's he's a lap down at this point, so sucks to be him, I guess. Anyway, got a couple more lapped cars. And this is the last lap on this stint. As Pick very awkwardly gets out of the way. And then sticks on the inside the whole time. Thanks, dude. How about you just let off for a second? Give me the line. Holy crap. And then Bianchi, thankfully, pulls over in a manner that is actually respectful. And not a bad line through Kuan there. Taking just enough outside curve, maybe a little bit too much. Almost all four wheels out on it. Ooh. Bad line through there. It went wide in the middle of that section. And you can see me fishtailing, trying to put the power down in Rich with these worn tires. I'm not sure I actually switch over to look and see how worn they are or not, but they're really not that bad. These are only 5-lap old tires. 5 laps at Spa is, like 7, 8, 9 laps at another track, but the point is that the wet tires do wear down in F1 2013, so having a tire saving setup is still beneficial if it rains. So I'm trying to put on full wets right now, and I'm being retarded. There we go. Got the full wets.
Okay, wet tires for next box. Wet tires for next box. Watch out for traffic as you rejoin the track.
So, using Kurz on exit, and I'm actually P2 right now. I got Hamilton ahead though, and I'm thinking that they kept Hamilton out because they were pitting Rosberg. So I'm assuming that Hamilton is going to be pitting this lap, lap 18, for his new set of full wets. And that is not Hamilton, as you can see, as it's Vettel again as he moves to the right and then holds the racing line. Awesome. Great job, dude. So it's 4.4 to Hamilton, so actually this next car is also not Hamilton. This is, I think, Bianchi again. And then possibly Peak again. Who will hopefully be more courteous and gentlemanlike this time through. A little bit of grass on the inside. All in all, not a bad corner though. Third gear for this, even in the wet. Ooh, a little bit on the curb, which gave me some oversteer, but I managed it. Didn't lose too much time. And Bianchi just parks it right on the apex. Awesome. So it looks like nobody wants to just let me through. Everyone wants to be a jerk about it. 5.2 now to Hamilton. So at this point, I'm really hoping that he's pitting. I'm having such a hard time getting through this traffic. And there's Peak nearly going off the course when I haven't even gotten close to him yet. And I'm on much fresher tires than Peak, so I'm able to brake very late. And there's Hamilton on the right there. He was just going into the pits. Just saw him in the pit entry as I pass him and retake the lead. 3.8 to Rosberg. And only 4 laps left to go, including this one. At 180 miles an hour through Eau Rouge. Going nicely through there, especially on these pressure tires. And again, using some curves in 7th gear to try and get a high top speed, pull out this gap to Rosberg as much as I can. 3.3 to Rosberg.
You currently have a 3-second gap between you and the car behind. 3
With
seconds.
Alonso not far behind, so hopefully Alonso will start pressurizing Rosberg. And they'll start battling and start losing some time to me. They are running in very, very close proximity. And again, a little grass on the inside curb, or on the inside of the entry of Buon. But holding a nice line overall through there. And taking a better line through this sequence of corners than I have done in the past couple of laps. And not a great line through that last corner. Kind of awkward over the curb. 3.3 to Rosberg. Maintaining that gap. A little bit too much curb on the bus stop chicane there. 156.2 though. I think that's pretty good for wet tire running. Oh, that's not good though. Got some understeer in turn 1 there. Put all 4 wheels outside the track. Couldn't get back on quickly. A little bit of corner cut. The exit of Eau Rouge there. Awkward through that corner. Just really didn't feel good about the grip there. And I think I do something about that next lap. I think what I end up doing is going down to 1st gear for the entrance of that corner and then up to 2nd gear for the rest of it, for the mid corner and exit of that corner to try and give myself some more stability. Look for that next lap. Way too much curb. Way too much curb. And Alonso has gotten past Rosberg, and they have lost out in the process. Now 4 seconds back to Alonso. we are starting the penultimate lap, which is fantastic work that you do not hear in America. Still fuel saving, and again a little wide through turn 1, but I managed to slow it down a little bit more to hook it onto the track without going wide this time. 3.8 to Alonso. .9 to Alonso. A little bit of oversteer. No, there we go. Yep. Okay. Well, maybe it's the last lap of the race that I finally figured out how to do that. Yeah, I kind of missed my apex there. Very tough to nail Puan because it's so high speed. It's like threading a needle at 160 miles an hour. And again, way too much curb. .3 to Alonso now. 2.4 to Rosberg, so yeah, he must have run out of fuel, because he's just been dropping back ever since Alonso caught him. As Ricciardo gets very nicely out of the way. I wish everyone else would take lessons from him. And here we are starting the final lap. And I imagine I'll be going to Rich coming out of this first corner to try and burn off as much of my fuel as possible. Haven't even seen -1 yet, so I've been doing a good job saving all my fuel. Using about 50% of my curves. You can see the big puddles on the track. And again, a little cut at the top. The game doesn't give you any warning for that though.
At the moment, the
3.3 to Alonso.
behind is 3 seconds.
That's strange. I thought I was using second gear for mid-corner. Maybe that was earlier in the race and I wasn't really noticing. Oh, as I get some oversteer. Kept it pointing in the right direction though. Using Rich now to finish off the rest of my curves. And I get a little bit of that outside curve though. Not a great Puan. It's gonna lose me a few tenths to Alonso. Oh, and right out wide onto the gravel. And no, just understeering again right into the gravel. Oh no. 2 seconds down to Alonso. I still got some curves, got some rich mix, using all of that. And I'm hoping that I don't have to be defensive going into the bus stop chicane. And right now I'm thinking, do I want to be on the left or do I want to be on the right? You know, how close is he? But no, I come through that corner at about 190 miles an hour with all this rich mix. And he is still comfortably behind me through the bus stop chicane. Very cautiously as we come home to take a win finally. I don't remember when the last one was, but it's been a while since I've won in this game, period. After doing so much Spain and Monaco, I really needed a win, even if it was against the AI. So there it is, confirmation. 1.4 seconds ahead of Alonso, 4.7 ahead of Nico Rosberg, 5.1 ahead of Hamilton, and then the rest of the field. Romain Grosjean coming home in 10th place, only giving us 1 point, so that's only 26 points for Lotus. Ferrari is going to come home with 22. Mercedes is getting 27. So actually Mercedes, once again, pulling out that constructors gap by 1 point. We really need to be closing them down, and I really need Grosjean to be finishing in like 6th, not 10th. And he just keeps finishing in 10th. Here we are, this is the 11th race of the season, and the guy has
You're
39
still first in the
points.
Drivers'
He's
Championship. You're doing
averaging
an excellent
less than
job.
4 points a race, so he's averaging worse than 8th usually, which is not good. Somewhere between 8th and 9th is where Romain Grosjean's getting normally. So I'm still in the lead, obviously, after that win. 193 points, 30 points ahead of Fernando Alonso, 44 points ahead of Nico Rosberg, 50 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton, and then a big gap down to Mark Webber and Felipe Massa with 97 and 98 respectively. As I said, Mercedes pulled out another point on us, so they're up to 292. It's looking like they might be out of reach because of their driver combo. Ferrari is looking like our main rival, so hopefully we can start taking the fight to the Ferraris. It's really up to Grosjean at this point. I mean, I'm doing everything I can for the team, clearly, by winning the championship. I'm averaging right now, let's see, after 11 races, 193. That's almost 18 points per race, something like that. So I'm averaging second every race. My average finishing position is second place. And meanwhile, he's averaging somewhere between 8th and 9th. So hopefully we can take that fight to Ferrari soon and actually fight them for the championship. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the return. Sorry I didn't have the live commentary for you. That setting's been fixed, though, in MSI, so that'll be back for you for the next one. Let me know in the comments below, though, if you like this kind of commentary more than the live-style commentary. Just know that it does take more effort from me, but if you guys really like it that much more, I'm certainly willing to try it. All right, guys, join us next time. We'll be in Monza. Hopefully it'll be dry, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.